is the international circuit here at Silverstone, and it's modified mostly for the cars, trying to keep the terminal speeds down. And even with these tight corners, they're still getting around this track in sort of something like 93 miles an hour as an average. Then you've got Luffield 1 and 2. It's a horseshoe really, and onto Woodcote, which is the last corner on the circuit, and it comes right in front of us here in the commentary position. And Woodcote, for these bikes, it's going to be like something like 140 mile an hour. For the big ones, 150 mile an hour through here, and there's no runoff. If anybody loses, you can see the barriers right on the side of the track there. If you fall down here, you are in big trouble, Jules.
Yeah, because there's nothing slow about a crash at Woodcote. I remember Christian Saron scraping along here and bouncing down the rumble strips there, Keith, many years ago in a Grand Prix. Also, I remember Barry Sheen and Kenny Roberts out on those rumble strips.
And the hand language that came from Sheeny as he overtook him. But anyway,
I met the man who was third in that Grand Prix, Bill Hartog, a week ago, and a little chat to him about it.
Yes,
more of that later.
Yes, indeed. Sometime in the distant future, when Julian's in the bar, you can catch the rest of that story.
Willingly.
We've got time for it here. Jimmy Moody then, on pole position. Jim Moody, alongside him, his former teammate Kurt McCarthy. Alongside him, Glenn Richards. Alongside him, Dean Thomas.
That's an Australian front row, isn't it?
Yeah, not bad, is it? Kurt McCarthy, Glenn Richards, Dean Thomas. G'day, Jim. Here we go then. Under starters orders now. Red lights are on. Wait for the green. Green they go. Underway. Jim Moody gets a great start, but Kurt McCarthy gets a better one. Kurt McCarthy's away on bike 16. Yes, side by side. Oh, dear me. Intercops for the first time. They're great mates off the track. Wonder how long it'll last.
Not long, I feel, Keith. Not a great start from Dean Thomas, though, from the other side of the front row.
Number 6 is Dean Thomas, so keep an eye on him. But Vermeulen is there. Vermeulen is there in 4th place. It is Kurt McCarthy that leads. Number 16, Kurt McCarthy leads into Beckett for the first time. 21, Jim Moody right behind him. Then it's Glenn Richards. Then it is Dean Thomas. I see. Number 6 is Dean Thomas. That looks like Scott Smart there on 88 as well. That's behind Glenn Richards.
Glenn Richards, yes, is the Sanyo bike you're referring to in the leading group, but it is the Aussie. Yeah. It's the ex-Australian Superbike champion, no less. Kurt McCarthy, who leads from Jim Moody on the Yamaha.
This is the battle, of course, in the championship as well. Kurt McCarthy's second in the series. Jim Moody has a bit of a lead on him after Snellerton.
8 points.
Jim Moody. Well, I think Jim will settle down for this. Jim has really smoothed his act up over the last few years. He really is a very...
Oh, you were saying?
Dear me.
Where did he come from?
Moody. Well, the Glaswegian slipped through on the inside of Kurt McCarthy like Kurt McCarthy was a club racer.
That was astonishing.
Yeah, I think Kurt McCarthy will have learned something from that. Won't make him happy, but he will have learned from it.
Yes, and he's working out what to do about it right now.
So, Kurt McCarthy, and like Jim Moody, he's a tough little character. He's a man with a lot of aggression when wound up.
They're actually horribly alike, aren't they, in many ways, these two?
I've got a lot of time for Jim Moody and McCarthy, that's for sure. So, Moody leads over the line then. 21, Jim Moody leads over the line. Kurt McCarthy second. Glenn Richards was third, and I reckon Dean Thomas has just done him. We'll have a look as he goes by. So, Moody out of Cox, up towards Maggots. Yeah, it is a D&E Ducati, looking very good. I spoke to Enzo this morning, and Enzo Di Clementi, the team owner. Well, we saw tears of joy at Alton, tears at Snellerton. I wonder what we'll get here.
He's very happy because he's got 2 chefs from the Manoir de Cap Saison doing the catering.
I'll tell you what, when you got an Italian in the
absolutely,
that's the place to eat.
No kidding.
So, look at Moody. Moody on Jack Ballantyne and Steve Miller's 600cc R6 Yamaha in front of the 600cc Castrol Honda. Moody leads from Kurt McCarthy from Dean Thomas. It looks like Glenn Richards still there in 4th place at the moment. Number 5 is Glenn Richards.
It's a freight train, though, Keith. No one's making an escape yet this early in the race. I thought maybe Moody and McCarthy might do that, but it ain't happening.
There's Dean Thomas. So Dean Thomas, the likeable Aussie, catching another likeable Aussie. 16, Kurt McCarthy. Well, you would have said that Ducati should have a bit of grunt. We'll see if it's got something to compare with the 4-cylinder bikes. Of course, the Ducati that's been allowed in under Supersport rules this year, the twin-cylinder 748 Ducati versus the 600cc 4-cylinder motorcycles that we're more used to in British Championship racing.
Would you expect that grunt to pay in coming out the corners in the complex?
Those are the standings going into the race. To answer your question, I would have expected the Ducati to be more than a match for the 600s, but it hasn't been so far this year. Moody, McCarthy, Richards, Thomas and Vermeulen. That's the top 5 in the series going into this race today. We'll see how they come out of that. It was, an 8-point lead that Moody extended his list to. There is the D&E Ducati. The Diane and Enzo Di Clementi Ducati. A great little team, sponsored by Motorola. Give them a bit of a name check as well.
Why
right
not?
On the Castrol Honda now.
That's a great name to bring in to the sport, Motorola,
yes,
isn't it?
Indeed. Free phones coming our way, I feel sure. Over the line, Dean Thomas.
I don't.
Well, there's a surprise. Dean Thomas goes second. Take that, Kirk. No, Captain Kirk hangs on to him. Beat me up, Scotty.
It's like an Australian Championship race at the front of this field, apart from Mr. Moody.
Maybe the Glaswegian's going to go for dual nationality then, just to qualify properly for that. We're talking about Moody, who is extending his lead. He's under bridge.
And by the way, Scotty Smart was there. We did see number 88, the other D&E Ducati.
Scott Smart is one of the best riders not to be doing much in this Super Sports series so far this year.
That's faint praise, that, isn't it? I know what you mean.
Scott is better than we're seeing him at the moment. I'm convinced of that.
I agree completely.
Top 5 looks a bit like the standings there, so that's the top 5 in the race. Moody, McCarthy, Thomas, Richards and Vermeulen. That is how it is at the moment. So, Kirk McCarthy, second place. Dean Thomas there on bike 6, third place. They're chasing the Glaswegian, 21. Jim Moody over the line already on the Jack Valentine, and Steve Mellors entered B&M Yamaha.
And if you caught a glimpse of a second Castrol Honda behind Scotty Smart, yes, that is John McGuinness, up in the top 10 in 8th place.
Howard Whitby just in front of him as he came across the line. I tell you what, this is the battle, isn't it? It is like an Australian Championship. Ignore Moody and we've got McCarthy and Dean Thomas. I tell you what, McCarthy, well, he's a feisty little fella, no doubt about that. Dean Thomas looks a bit thick-set. Wouldn't want to argue with either of them, actually. Oh, and comes through Glenn Richards. Glenn Richards is a man that I feel has been slightly overshadowed by his teammate this year in the PR stakes. Not so much on the track. And Glenn Richards at 26-year-old, how can you compete with an 18-year-old that's a flyer like Chris Vermeulen is? Through goes Dean Thomas, and while I'm spitting out all the bits about the Sanyo Honda team, D&E Ducati is in front now. And if he can hold this and try and gain some kind of momentum to catch Jim Moody, I have to say, Dean Thomas looks like the man that's going to be on for this, because he's the quickest man on the track. He has been since lap 2. So Dean Thomas,
he's catching him. He's catching him. This is going to be interesting, to put it mildly.
Yeah, but what difference does it make in the championship? I think Dean Thomas is third.
He's fourth, Keith.
Is he? There you go. Again, my paperwork is all over here. I'll have to get you to tidy it up for me when I go back to the studio.
Yes, sir, of course. Anything else? Shine your shoes? Shine your nose? Anything?
Well, you couldn't do that in one day.
There's the leader.
Moody from Thomas, from McCarthy, from Glenn Richards, and there we've got Chris Vermeulen, and then Howard Whitby on 34. Howard Whitby, the last of the late breakers. Watch out for him. He's a nutcase. That
lead has gone up. Yeah, you couldn't get sued for that, that's fair. The lead has gone up from 0.8 to 1.0. So Moody, despite what I was thinking last time round, has taken a little bit out of Dean Thomas in second place.
It's a term of endearment, I meant, for Howard Whitby.
Absolutely, yeah. Fabrizio Pirovano never sued when Neil Mackenzie called him that on one of our programmes, so I don't think he should either. Now then.
There's Moody.
Yep, there's Thomas. There's McCarthy. And number 5, the first of the Sanyo Hondas, is the Australian Glenn Richards. The other Australian on the Sanyo Honda, Vermeulen, is number 2. When you see those two bikes, and we now have the top 6 locked together on pretty good near the lap record pace, but Moody still the man who they have to catch. The Scotsman leads a posse of Australians. Scott Smart is back in 6th place in front of McGuinness in 7th. Woolsey Coulter's up to 8th. Those are the notable men, but really it's the men who are top of the championship who are up the front of the race.
Let's take a look then at the start of the race again, and we can recap on what happened after the start. You can see that there, big jump from Kirk McCarthy. Kirk McCarthy gets right alongside immediately.
There was a big jump start at the back of the field as well, Keith.
Indeed. Back at the front then, it is Moody from Dean Thomas.
Now, Dean Thomas is looking like he's towing McCarthy. Now, I think McCarthy is not attacking his fellow countryman at the moment. He thinks Dean Thomas has the ammo to get up to the leader, and the gap is under 0.8 of a second last time round, so maybe he's right. Would you read it that way, that the Aussies are now formation flying to get back up to Moody?
No.
Good answer. I like it.
Not a chance.
Get off that fence.
Moody is doing all he can out the front at the moment. Jim Moody doesn't need to be towed, doesn't need to be pushed. He has his own pace. He's a brilliant Isle of Man TT racer. He's a great circuit racer. He's very, very good at going at his own pace. That's usually an electrifying pace. He has big trouble here, in my view, with Moody.
Shortly.
I mean, McCarthy could be right with him at any moment. And McCarthy, well, and Thomas dragging. I think Thomas has dragged McCarthy on. He's given McCarthy a little bit of extra inspiration. Glenn Richards, I mean, he's struggling a bit on the